to see you, man. You know, we spoke on Insano Volume 1 now. Of course, we've got the new one, Nitro Mega, sounding so good, man. And I think this is a body of work. It's rare when people come out with something after the fact that, you know, they feel is an extension of that original thought. Yeah. And they want to honor that original thought. They want the music to live. Why wouldn't you? It's rare that when you press play on it, that it hits as hard and at times, if not harder, for me. Like there are moments on the second installment, honestly, that are some of my favorite things you've ever done. So yeah, amazing the body of work and the quality and consistency, bro.
Man, you know, it's crazy. I was looking at this this one podcast where they were kind of reviewing the album, and they were kind of talking about, you know, did he make this, you know, as a continuation, or was he thinking about, you know, this is a whole new piece? And pretty much, you know, after I finished Insano, like I was still recording. Like I was still going to the studio because I knew I wanted to have a deluxe, right? But I didn't want it to be like leftover songs. You know what I mean? So I had leftover songs from Insano, but I just went ahead and did all new joints. And a couple I kept. Like I had Human Made for a couple years, and I wanted to save it for the right moment because it's just such a powerful song. And I knew when I was putting the album together, I wanted it to be first. But, you know, I was just in a zone.
Did you make music after we spoke at your house?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I was just in a zone, man. I was just kind of like a really strong creative spark. You know what I mean? I was really inspired and just, you know, it's kind of crazy. It's like, that's why I guess back in the day, it would take me about like a year to do a project because you want to get in a groove. You know what I mean? And I think after Insano, I got in more of a groove and started to like think about what spaces I didn't touch on Insano. After Insano, I was just really proud of it, and I was feeling myself. When you make a song like Superboy, it's like, you know, when I made that song, I was like, this will be, when it's all said and done, this will be a top 10 KuDi record. You know,
it blew me away when I went through the record, and I do my best if I can, especially when I've started. I'm like, no, one sitting. So I did it one sitting.
Yeah.
When I first heard it all the way through, and I got to Superboy, and I was like, because I wasn't looking at the track listing, but I knew I'd been sitting there through the music, and I figured it must be near the end. And then that record started. I'm like, oh, this has to be the closer. This has to be the closer of the record. Yeah. Because it just feels like, man. Yeah, what a beautiful way to cap an incredible creative era for yourself and to see what the future has to hold. Yeah. What is Superboy? What's the message that you're telling yourself in that song?
Oh, man, that I've arrived. You know, I've acquired all the powers I need to, you know, reach this new chapter. You know, I am the mega version of myself. I am the best version of myself. You know,
brilliant, man. I've talked about a lot of pain with a lot of artists. It's nice to have the flip of that coin. Describe the time of the day and the feeling and the mood you were in when you went into your studio at home and you started working on that song, knowing that you had something that could, to your point, be in the top 5 KuDi moments of all time.
Superboy. We did this in the evening. At my house. My friend Jean-Baptiste, who executive produced this album, as well as Insano, text me this beat from Benny X. Shout out to Benny X.
Shout out to Benny X.
And
Benny X.
They made this beat just for me, with me in mind. And every once in a while, you'll connect with a producer that just gets you. And Benny, you know, he just gets me. He's such a fan of what I've done in music. And, you know, it was just beautiful, man, because you hear that beat, that music, it just, as soon as I heard it, it just took me to another place. I felt like a superhero. I felt like this was like a theme song or something, and I just like took it and ran with it, and the Superboy thing came, and yeah, it just made me, it felt like the perfect conclusion, and it made me feel alive when I made it.
So what is important to you? What do you look for in a friendship, in a really lasting friendship? What are the key qualities you've learned truly speak your language?
Man, you know, I always tend to connect with really good humans. That's kind of like the first thing that has to be in place.
And you've got a good radar for that.
Yeah, and I seem to attract good energy, you know, lately in my life, in the past 7-8 years. And that also is because I've shifted my energy, and I got myself together and started living a different way with a different mindset. That's the most important thing for me. That can take me from knowing you my whole life, you know, for meeting you a second, talking to you for a couple hours and being like, yo, this is my type of people, and then knowing you for 15 years. Like, that's how me and Dot were. It's like we met, and it was like we immediately hit it off, and we were hanging out every day. You know what I mean? And it's like that happens every so often. It hasn't happened to me recently. It's like a lot of this stuff happens when you're a kid, when you're younger.
Well, you're open.
When you develop these relationships.
Well, you create human beings, they help you form your identity.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I hear in your last two projects, man? I had to try to think of a word, and it sounds like, to me, it's like faith.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're projecting faith in who you've become as a person, and you're able to project that. And I'm pretty sure that can be kind of weird for an artist. Like, are they ready to hear this version of me? But it's also faith in your fans that they've grown and that they're ready for that. Did you feel that in making these two? Like, I can be this version of myself openly, and people have grown enough from when they first heard
to
me
let the
to
old
be there
me
with
go.
me.
Yeah, I've kind of felt that way for sure. You know, my fans have been on this journey. They've grown with me. To be doing this for 16 years and to be knowing my ups and downs and my turmoil and the things I went through, and to come out on top in this place where I'm at right now at 40 years old, I'm still here, you know, it is a lot of it had the reason I got to this point is because of my faith. You know what I mean? Like, the reason I became CuDi is because of my faith and hope and knowing that I'd be okay, you know? And the fact that, you know, you go through things and it's not like I know when I got out of rehab, I knew that my dark days weren't over. You know? What rehab did for me was give me the tools I needed to handle the darkness next time it came. I didn't have those tools before. I would immediately go to drugs and substances, you know, just getting f***ed up, self-medication.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, just self-destruction by distraction.
Yeah. So I have these tools in place now. So yeah, I have bad days, I have good days, but you know, I don't have bad days. Yeah. I have moments. And then I get through it and I don't dwell in it. Before I would have bad days, bad weeks, bad months, you know, I would sit and dwell on something, you know, and it would eat me alive, you know, but I want people to see that, hey, this new version that you know is here, and it's only going to get better from here.
How important has this part of your life and reclaiming the days and the weeks and the months and the time and the gifts that we're given been? How important has that been to your mom, to your family, to the people who love you the most?
Oh, they love it. I mean, my mom, you know, I know she can sit at my birthday party, my 40th, and just be so grateful that I made it through. And she was so emotional at my party, and you know, my mom saw it all. And parents worry. And for a while, for me, it didn't look good. You know, imagine, like I don't know what it's like being the parent of a famous child. You know what I mean? Like, my mom would wake up, her friends would be hitting her. She would see the news. Like, when I would do and get caught and arrested or something in the news, like, my mom had to like be on the outside looking in, like, and I would never let her in. I would never really let her know what was going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to know we come from that and to be here, you know, she's thankful, and she's a God-fearing woman. Yeah. She's been praying for me every single day, you know. So it's crazy, man. I know that I have this intense support system around me. Like, everybody in my life, they know my struggles. So every day seeing me smile to them, it makes them feel so good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know that, you know, it's like my girl, right? My girl, I was telling her, I was like, yo, babe, you know, in 2010, I was wild. And she was laughing and she ain't believe me. And I was like, yo, look, let me tell you. And then I found this news clipping from like when I got arrested years ago, and I had cocaine on me and all this. So I'm reading her the story, and she is just laughing. Like, you know, at the time when I was reading this, I was like, oh my God, my life was over.
Yeah.
But she was listening to me read this story, and she was laughing because she doesn't know
Yeah.
that guy.
Yeah.
She's like, I can't imagine, I don't know this person. You know what I mean? But it let me know that, like, look, this is dope. Like, I've been,
It's all part of it.
yeah, I've been a new guy for so long.
Yeah.
And I've built relationships with people for years now, and they've seen this new person, they've seen the growth that they don't know any other Scott. You know? And I think that, you know, I was able to shed that skin and leave it in the past. And I was around people that weren't judging me for the past. And
Which allows you to stop judging yourself too.
exactly. You know, because if you got people around you that are
Constantly reminding you.
constantly and letting you know that you f***ed up.
And that's kind of what fame is. Fame is, by its very nature, designed to remind you of all the versions of yourself
Yeah.
all the time,
Yeah.
because we know them all.
Yeah.
You got to be willing to take yourself out of that experience completely in order to move past it.
Yeah.
And that's a practice.
Yeah. I agree.
And what I love about you and people like you is that you are a North Star, an example of what can happen when you're vulnerable through your art, through your music. I watched your documentary, and you can see what actually happens on the other side, because people they saw the valleys, but now they get to see the peaks, and they can reach a different level, and you can be an example. And another thing I enjoy too is I'm a nerd. So I love that you do nerdy stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that there's a generation, our generation, we're of similar age, and the generation younger than us, they don't have to be like, I got to be cool. I can't be into nerdy stuff. And some of the stuff you've done comic books and animation, Intergalactic. And I want to talk about that journey transitioning from music. And I'm going to say this to your face. You're a great actor, fam.
Oh,
you are way from Wilson Made in America to you were the best part of House Party.
You are great. And by the way, if it wasn't for you, there wouldn't have been a final Westworld season. I'm sorry. I'm just saying straight up.
So I want to talk about that side of the journey for music transition, and not only actor, but having doing production and animation specifically. How the Intergalactic thing, how did that even happen? Because conceptually, if you try to tell somebody that, you probably can't get that, ball rolling unless you're Kid CuDi. How did that come about?
Before I answer your question, it's a funny thing. I'm writing a memoir right now. I just finished it. I talk about being a nerd. And I was popular because I was like a crazy class clown, and I was cool with all the crews. And I talk about that in the book, and I was like kind of just expressing oh, I like this girl, but I was cool with her, but she wouldn't date me. She was into the jocks. I was like, I was cool, but I was like a nerd. I champion that. Like yes, my comic book is like my inner nerd coming out shining bright. You know what I mean? Like doing animation, it's my inner nerd. Intergalactic, the way I sold that was really simple. It wasn't hard because I had some music, right? And then I knew the story in my mind. I knew how to tell it, to pitch it, pretty much. So they came in and I had 3 songs. I had, I think I had an intro that we didn't end up using. I had Willing to Trust, and I had Angel. I think I had, and I had Do What I Want. So I play all these songs, and then as the songs are playing, I'm describing the scenes and what happens and the places and the scenes that they happen and whatever, right? So I give them the spiel. It's about an hour. They ask some questions. And then I play them the music. I play them like 2 more songs, and they're pretty much like, we've heard enough. We'll be in contact. And like the next day they were like, we want to buy this. I think the thing that sold it was my enthusiasm and the music. You know, the music is what really sold it. You play somebody Willing to Trust, they're gonna understand. You guys all heard that record now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Imagine hearing that record out of nowhere.
First time, yeah.
For the
Attached
first time.
to this idea.
Yeah, unreleased.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I could give this to y'all. This could be ours. This could be ours. And they're like, what the like, yes, you know? And it was cool. You know what I mean? And all these studios are looking for authentically cool. Yeah. And Intergalactic was authentically cool. It wasn't forced or any of that.
Do you think it's harder now? Do you think you would still sell it? You would still be the same CuDi with the same great idea? But do you think regardless, and this is a question for your peers as much as it is for you, it's a question for Donald or anybody else moving in multiple verticals trying to get great creative ideas over the line, do you think it's going the right direction, or is it getting harder now, the way that things are leveling off from a sort of acquisition point of view through subscription service and everything else to sell a great idea?
I'm just new to this, so I don't know how throughout the years how it's been, if it was easier before and now it's harder. I just know what I know now in the current climate. And I've been successful, you know. I recently sold the show to Netflix last year. I'm writing the season right now with Ian Edelman, who created How to Make It in America. And you know, there's plenty of other projects that I'm doing that Matt Sellers is on board with that are getting ready to go in the next couple of years. You know, I'm writing this zombie movie called Hell Nah that's up at Sony with the Lucas brothers. It's fucking crazy. It's wild. We could talk a little bit more about that.
Now, let's go. Hell nah. What are we talking about? This is by the way, every now and then, and I don't want to be basic about this, but every now and then, you know, I know a lot of love and a lot of work, a lot of blood, sweat, tears goes into like fleshing this whole thing out, but every now and then someone just names something. It's like, I'll sign right here.
That was the elevator pitch. I got a zombie movie. It's called Hell Nah.
Yep. It's so good. It's so good.
But it's so outrageous. So you know the movie This Is the End with Seth Rogen and James Franco, right?
Yeah.
So I was in Paris 2018 at Fashion Week in the summer, June. And, you know, I was going to these different fashion shows and I was just kind of at all the crazy pandemonium and seeing all the fandom and stuff. And I was just like, in my head, I was thinking like, this would be the perfect setting for a zombie movie. Like, if something happened right now, if a zombie apocalypse happened right now, I'm so far from home. I do not know my way around Paris. I mean, I've been here a nice amount of times, but I cannot tell you about where to go.
He's right. It's very difficult to navigate through that city.
You know, so it's like, I don't know where to hide. I don't know where to go for safety. I don't know how to get help. And that spiraled into me coming up with this idea, right? So, you know, the movie itself is living in the same idea of this is the end. So it's me and all my friends in Paris during Fashion Week, and there's a zombie apocalypse, right? And you know, the funny thing about it, when I was writing it, I was telling the Lucas brothers, I was like, look, guys, like, I'm not gonna be brave. Like I have to be a straight ass for the first 2 acts of this movie. Like, you know, like, I think that's funny, you know, to kind of flip it, you know, because like in my mind, watching Walking Dead, you know, I'm always like, yo, if this was me, if this was me, I'd do this. Woo, 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 woo. You know, you in real life, you feel like you would be on.
Are you gonna Flanders scream? You have to have a Flanders scream. You know, the real high pitch.
I'll probably get like a little kid to record a scream and just dub it.
You need the dumbest scream of all time.
Just dub it and put it on top. Like some girls with like 30-year-old kid just screaming and just put it on top of my.
The first time you do it, your friends are like, "You have never made that noise before, bro. Ever. As long as I've known you.
I've never been in that type of danger before. Okay, guys."
I get to know a side of you that only a particular life-threatening danger will ever bring out.
But it's a wacky movie. It is crazy ridiculous, but the horror moments are really scary.
Yeah, they have to.
You know what I mean? Because the Lucas brothers, we are big fans of horror. And we knew going into this, I was like, look, we want this to be funny, but we want the scary moments to be really scary.
Are you casting right now?
Well, not now. We're working on the script, right?
Yeah,
We're almost done with that.
Yeah, but do you have people in mind?
We do. And I don't want to say names.
No, that's cool.
But, you know, it's going to be a great film if people sign on to do it. I hope they sign on to do it. And I feel really good about it. But, you know, to see a lot of these people that I have in mind in this setting, it's gonna make for a great story. You know what I mean?
I just want to be an extra. Just put me in the background so far you can't even see me.
But you have to die though.
Like
you gotta
Corey,
die.
Corey.
Yeah.
I have no problem dying on screen.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
Man, all my friends make movies and no one ever makes me an extra. I'm done waiting around and inviting myself to the wedding.
But I'm talking about like your head has to get like knocked off. And like
there's a lot.
No,
it
chest
rolls
open.
and your glasses are still on.
Chest open. Somebody's eating him.
Listen.
I want to see some crazy stuff. I want to see somebody.
This
with
is
his arms.
scary that they want to see.
Well, I was just about to say, if you Google my name, there's a lot of people who want to see me get my head chopped off, bro. There's a lot of people. Yeah, man. It's just a beautiful. I think again, you've created little musical moments on this album amongst all the hard that reflects your state of mind. And this is one of those moments.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this song is early on before I lost my mind.
Yeah.
2007. Yeah. And this was after we made Day and Night, and we were on a run. We were on fire.
I needed you to find it again, man. When the time is right.
Yeah. I mean, I performed it. I only performed it. I never released it, and fans have been grilling me for years about releasing it.
Yeah. Well, thank you for doing that, man.
Yeah.
Insano. So the tour, man. The tour is going to be nuts. I've looked at the dates. It's a real tour. It's an old school tour. It's a mid-2000s level tour. It's like 40, 50 dates in a row running. That's just the first couple of legs. How you feeling about it?
I feel good, man. I got something really dope planned, and you know, I was just working on music like intros and interludes and outros and things like that with Dot and Heavy Mellow. And you know, the goal is always to give a new experience, and I've been touring for 16 years. Like, kids have seen me do a number of things, but there's still, you know, stuff that I haven't done. You know, just the level of production that I can put into a show now, and it's great, man. I just love kind of getting back into like designing a show, and it's funny because we did the set list a couple weeks ago, and
how long did that take you? 3 days?
No, like 2 days.
Okay, well, there you go. So you're like, no, like an hour.
2 days.
No, it was like 2 days and like 12 hours.
2 days and 20 hours.
Yeah.
So
It was such a shocking no, though.
Yeah.
No, it was 2 days and 22 hours. Put your shit together. It's like, what's wrong with you?
But so the set list is, you know, one of those things that it because it came up so, it got done so quick. Like it was like the songs, the album was, like I told you in that interview that we did last time, the album was made for touring. So at this point, it's about, okay, what songs we know we're gonna perform the majority of the albums, right? But then we also wanted to put in some classics, some songs that I remember when I would go on tour 2 years ago, kids loved, you know? Like there's several songs that, you know, my fans would be pissed if they didn't get a chance to see me perform, you know? So I add those but I'm really excited because because the albums are so turbocharged, the show is turbocharged. Me, I got to get my stamina right. I got to start working out and getting healthier and quit smoking cigarettes, and like, because it's going to be very demanding for me physically, you know, but I'm excited for that. You know, the show is going to be over 2 hours. It's like, you know, I'm really excited to put on like a genuine show.
Yeah, because
you know,
what a beautiful era to be able to take stock everything you've done, but not have to feel like you're reflecting on your whole career. You can pick and choose how you want to do that through the filter of Insano, which is like, it's a rebirth, man. In a way, it's a spiritual rebirth, I think, right?
Well, that's what it's supposed to be, you know. And the tour, you know, kind of like leans into that idea. The same, you know, this is a rebirth. You know, this, you know, the Scott people see now. I'm just gonna keep growing and growing and growing, and the beautiful thing is that like people have seen a lot from me, but they have not seen anything yet. You know, like I'm literally still just getting warm. Like this new stuff that I'm doing, like writing scripts.
Well, isn't that cool when you just don't have to have the same conversations anymore.
Yeah.
You don't need to lean into the same timelines anymore, the same feeds anymore, the same anymore. Your ego starts to work for you again, because you start to look at it a little differently than when it was really leading you, which is when it can turn on you pretty quickly.
Right.
You know, I mean, I know there's a healthy audience out there that want us to talk about all kinds of stuff. But man, I'm done with that. Like, I'm at a point now where if I'm not putting goodwill in the bank, what are we doing for music here?
Yeah.
I'm sick of music being this thing that just generates headlines and algorithmic, but you know, clickbait. It's like, that's not what music was designed for. There's lots of things that's what politics should be doing, so we can keep that conversation alive.
Yeah.
I want to put goodwill in the bank for music. I want to sit here with my friend KiDi live on the radio, talk about life, talk about art, talk about good stuff, play hard Love you, man.
Love you too, bro.
I'll see you on the road.
Yes, sir. You gotta come.
I'm there.
Y'all gotta come too.
Come on, man. Say less.
Everybody pull up.